Hello, math students. Welcome back to Module 10, Percent and Proportional Relationships, and this is Lesson 11. It's called Tax, Commissions, Fees, and Other Real-World Percent Problems. Our goal for today we will work on real-world percent problems. The question that I want you to think about is, what does the percent represent in all the different types of problems? So some things to remember. Tax is a fee that is charged to help pay for city, county, state, and federal issues, like having potholes in the road. A commission is an income earned for the sale of something. Usually you make commissions if you're a car dealership or if you're a jeweler, okay? And then gratuity is an income earned for a service. So for example, when you give tips to a waiter or a waitress, sometimes you give tips to people, taxi cab drivers or someone who actually moves your luggage at a hotel. So that's considered a gratuity. So the reason that we're working with this is these are all rates that are added to money amounts that either give you a gain of something or they give you a loss of money because it's a fee charged to you. So we're going to try it. Silvio earns 10% for each car sales that he makes. What is his commission if he sells a car for $2,000? So the first thing that I like to do, kiddos, is I like to remember that when you have a percent, the only way that you can work with it is if you change it out of the actual percent sign. So Silvio earns 10%, which 10% is really 10 out of 100, right? And we can simplify that so that it says 1/10. So it's saying that Silvio earns 1/10 for each car sales that he makes. What is the commission if he sells the car for $2,000? So very easily, all I have to do is take a tape and I'm going to split it into 10 equal pieces. The reason why I split it into 10 equal pieces is because I know that he makes 1/10 in commission. So this little section right here is his commission earned. This whole thing right here is the cost of the car that he sold, which was $2,000. So my job to figure out what he made on commission is to figure out what goes in each section. Well, if the whole thing was 2,000 and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sections, then I know that 10 times 200 gives me 2,000. So I know that each section of my tape has 200 in it. And now, kiddos, very, very easily, I have to determine that Silvio earned $200 from the sale of the car that cost $2,000. The other way that we can figure that out is we could use our part equals percent times whole formula. And we know that the cost of the car was the whole, so we would say something equals 10% or 1/10 of 2,000, right? And so you just do the math straight across. 1 times 2,000 is 2,000. 10 times 1 is 10. And then you divide by 10 and you left with 200. So you used the formula to help you find it as well. Okay? So using commission or trying to find commission really is not difficult as long as you remember how to set it up, as long as you use the equation correctly, as long as you use a model correctly. Some people are not going to want to use models. That's fine. Some of us love models because it makes it very easy to figure it out. Okay? So commission is money earned by the seller. Someone who sells something, they earn the money that they sell. Okay. There is a 10% room tax. How much money is the tax for the room costing $200? So a 10% room tax, again, you're taking 10 over 100 to get rid of that percent sign, which again equals 1/10. And we know that tax is an amount added on to what it costs. So we have to say, okay, we're needing to figure out what the actual tax amount is. So we would say something times 1/10 of the room, which costs $200. So we do the math and we would say, okay, that's 200 divided by 10. So that tells us that the tax cost is actually $20. So then it says how much money is the tax for the room costing $200. The tax equals $20. And you just figured that out by doing, again, the equation. We could have set it up the exact same way that we did using a tape up above. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we would know that the total amount of the room was $200. We know that this little guy right here represents the tax. And so we would know that 20 10 times is $200. And so the tax itself is represented by this little piece right here. So we know the tax is $20. The total room cost for the hotel would be a total of $220 that the person would have to pay for staying in the hotel room. Okay? So, going back to our goal, today we will work on real-world percent problems. That's exactly what we did. If you buy a car, the person who sells it to you is going to make commissions. If you buy a necklace from a jeweler, the person who sold you the necklace is going to make commissions. Okay? If you stay at a hotel, guaranteed you will be charged a room tax because that's how they make their money for their rooms, and you have to pay that in order to stay in the room. Okay? So these are definitely real-world problems. What does the percent represent in all of the different types of problems? The percent represents the rate of whatever you're working on. So it would be a tax rate, it would be a commissions rate, it would be a gratuity rate, anything that you're looking at, that percent represents the rate that you have to earn or you have to pay. All right? Okay, kiddos, that's all I have for you in this lesson. I'll see you soon. Bye!